Picnic. We both went to Roots Picnic.
I saw you out there.
I was out there. I was in those streets. I saw you out there being festival baddie, you know, doing what you do.
I was trying to do my thing a little bit, you know. Had my
you
contacts
was
on. I borrowed some shades that went with my shirt. You know,
I saw that. Your little mint green shirt.
You know, I was trying to do my thing.
I said, oh, okay, festival baddie. I see you.
I was trying to do my thing.
I see you out here. Is this for Ari Lennox?
It was for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Single man out there just basking in it. You know, there was all type of ladies. Like, it was everything and anything. You could tell people who, like, they come to festivals. They had their festival gear on. Mm-hmm. Then there was some people who, hey, I just came to chill and have a good time. Mm-hmm. Then there was other people that was dressed to the nines. They was like, I'm serving up looks. And then there were just people with entire asses out. Did you see people with that? There was a lot of Ari Lennox type outfits.
Yeah.
People in sheer clothing. Mm-hmm. People with body parts completely out.
Yes.
So one lady, she just had pasties.
Yep.
I was like, man, I should come with pasties next year.
I mean, you should. Why not?
Not with this body. Maybe if I get my body right before next Roots Picnic, I'll be out there, you know, shirtless. I actually was glad I didn't see none of the brolic, sliced and diced dudes without shirts on. I was like, oh, these dudes about to be out here flexing, no shirts on, making me look bad with my dad bod. No. Everybody had shirts on. I was happy about that. Well, all the fellas had shirts on. All the ladies did not have shirts on. But crazy.
Yeah, I mean it was
Well, you've been to Roots before. Yes. So how was your experience this time as opposed to last time? Not Ari Lennox. We get to that in a minute because we got to talk about Ari Lennox.
Of course.
Because you've been up here before slandering Ari Lennox.
I did not slander Ari Lennox.
Roots Picnic.
You see the narrative.
So we got to talk about Ari. But overall, how was your experience before and now in comparison?
So I went in 2019. Some of the same acts were there. Okay. Including Ari Lennox, including City Girls. I did not see City Girls this time. But I did catch a video online. To me, it was a much bigger turnout than it was the last time I went. Which, I mean, could be a multitude of things, I'm sure. I'm sure as the years go by, the numbers grow. They made a point to say that when they started, it was a more intimate event, and it started with 2,300 people, and now there's 60,000 attendees. Yeah.
Good job remembering those numbers.
Thank you. Welcome. So that's part of it. Also,
and that is a feat within itself. Sorry to cut you off, but
of course.
What has it been? 10 years they've been doing it?
It's been over 10 at this point.
Regardless, to be able to go from 2,300 to 60,000 plus,
to having it at a small, intimate venue, and now having it at this huge park.
Oh, it wasn't always at the park?
No.
Oh, I didn't know that. This is my first time going, so.
Yeah, no. I mean, I don't know where it used to be, but in the beginning when it was a lot smaller, I was reading something that said that when it was a lot smaller, it was at a more intimate venue, which makes sense. Yeah. I noticed that there were way more podcasts on the roster, which I thought was really interesting and really cool to see as podcasters ourselves. I'm sure it was cool for you as well. And just seeing how podcasting is growing in so many different spaces too.
So 2 things that the people may not know. One, I learned after going to Roots Picnic. Apparently before, the podcast stage was small and intimate, and they had like the silent clubbing thing.
Yeah, and it was up on a hill.
Oh, see, I didn't. The people I was listening to didn't say that, but they did say this time that was not the case. No. This time there was a dedicated stage, like a huge stage area, and everybody had like sound system and everything, the works to be able to do their thing. And there were some big names there. Yeah,
there was. I'm glad you pointed that out because I actually forgot that. But yes, when I went in 2019, that's how it was. I think that was the year. Headphones? I think that was the first year they had done that. They had done a podcast stage. It was all the way up on a hill, which kind of was a deterrent too because you have to walk up this long staircase to get up to it, and then you got to it and it wasn't going to time, and there were acts that decided not to show up. That was, if anybody knows about the Read and the Joe Budden podcast, that was the year that the Read decided not to go. They never really said exactly why, but the Joe Budden podcast did speak about it, so it seems like there was a clash there. Two of the hosts from those podcasts do not get along. Just for backstory. So I missed JBP that day. I didn't get to see it because I ended up leaving. There was also like a gunshot scare and all of that I went. So we didn't end up staying through the night. But yeah, there were only, I want to say there were maybe 4 or 5 podcasts. And I think this time there were about 10 to 12 between the 2 days. Yeah. So I thought that was really cool. And I'm glad they brought it down to the lower level because then people get better access to it. Yeah. I remember going up that hill and being like, well, I'm going to stay here and wait a little while for the people I want to see because if I go back down that hill, I'm not coming back up here.
Yeah, I actually bumped into the podcast stage. I had no idea where it was. Mm-hmm. And at one point between performances, I was like, yo, I need a snack or something. Mm-hmm. And so I was looking for different, I was just, walking around to see what different food was available. There was a lot of food and alcohol. Whew, a lot of alcohol. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, what's that? And there was like this area you just, off to the side. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, and there were signs. Man, I have to say, I know it's your turn, but I think they did a really good job organizing the way that the festival was. It was not hard to find anything. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of variety from vegan specific vendors to the types of alcohol that they had. Mm-hmm. They had a lot of different things, like different places to do quote unquote experiences from Dunkin'. Shout out to Dunkin'.
We did Dunkin' together and we have footage from Dunkin' that I need to post. Yeah. And, all type of stuff. There was a Google Pixel booth, Monster was there, Uber Eats was there, you name it. And I just think it was really well organized. Even though Saturday, I know the stages had some issues with time. So like I had to choose who I was going to see where. Because on the smaller stage, I wanted to see one performer. But that stage was a little behind schedule. Yeah. And the main stage was way behind schedule Saturday. Mm-hmm. And so... where in my brain I was like, I'm gonna see this person, and when they finish, I'll go here. It didn't work out that way. Right. But Sunday they were very good. Sunday they were very good with time. Mm-hmm. People were pretty much on time with the performances. Agreed. I was impressed. I don't go to festivals like that. The festival I went to a lot years ago was Brooklyn Hip Hop Festival. Mm-hmm. Very different. But this was huge and this was very fun. But I have to applaud them. It was well organized. There was no violence. And the performers said that, especially in the later times. Mm-hmm. They were like, yo, to be able to do this, have no violence, have everybody come together and show love and have a good time. Yeah. That's a feat within itself. And I totally agree. You didn't hear about anything happening. You said there was a scare in 2019. There was nothing like that. Yeah, no. And I think I would.
And even like, I don't know what your experience is, but even like, it was a standing only concert at the main stage. And even people pushing to get through, people weren't mad and like pushing back or being violent. They just like, even I witnessed some shit where a group of women went, it was such a weird lie. I won't even say what the lie is, but they were trying to get closer to the stage. Yeah. And so they said a lie that I guess they thought sound good. Somebody behind me was like, yeah, bitches ain't all going over there, but go ahead, man. We don't even... Go ahead, just go. And that didn't work out. This was the funnier part. It didn't work out, so they ended up coming back. And the dude was like, what happened? I thought y'all was going to the spot. Yeah. I don't want to say what they said. They said, I think he's going to the spot. What happened? All 12 of y'all couldn't get over there? Yo, shit was so funny. But that's not always the case. Right. In standing room only concerts, when people do shit like that, it doesn't always go so well. Yeah. And so... I thought that was good too. There was a lot of people, and then the blankets, like it's Roots Picnic, so there's areas where people have like their blankets and they're sitting on the blankets. Nobody gave a fuck about people's blankets. Yeah. They were just stepping on people's blankets and stepping right over your food and all type of stuff. And I was standing, I didn't have a blanket, but I was standing there watching and I was like, ooh, this about to be a fight. And people just was like, Come on, man.
I had a blanket, but I didn't even need to use it because it just didn't work out that way, which is, excuse me, which is fine. Because it was just nice to like be there and see certain acts. It didn't really bother me. I mean, when I was done, my feet hurt, but
Oh, I mean, that's festive stuff.
right. But that's what I'm saying. It was worth it.
Some people must have brolic feet because, especially some of the ladies, their footwear. I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
that's not festival footwear, sweetheart.
Right. Yeah. No, you're right. But overall, I think it was a great experience. It was definitely a lot better than the experience I had before. I think now we have to get into the performances, and I would like to just address Ari Lennox, since I have spoken here about the fact that I did see her at Roots Picnic in 2019, which was now 4 years ago. And I am happy to report that Ari Lennox, her performance was great. I had such a good time watching Ari Lennox perform. I just think she sounded better. She was more together. It's like you could tell that she's been seasoned over the last 4 years, and she's grown as an artist. And I loved it. I don't have anything bad to say.
It was great, and so was
I'm
her.
not taking anything back that I said about 2019. I also want to say that.
Okay.
You gotta allow artists to grow.
That's true. That's true. I enjoyed Ari's performance, and her outfit.
Oh, you liked her panties? You liked her see-through skirt?
Ari Lennox, for those who don't know, she showed up in a mesh skirt. And then it was like, remember we were up here saying how at Dreamville,
Yeah.
you could see a little
could see
hint.
a
That's
little
what you told
hint.
me. I was unaware.
You could see some of her panties. Yeah, usually you could see a little bit of Ari's panties in some way, shape, or form.
And this time, she ain't even try to hide it. She's like, yo, mesh skirt, what's up?
Yeah, that's her style.
Mesh mini skirt. Let me be clear.
Yeah, it was a mini
because skirts
skirt.
could go all the way, you know,
Oh no, it was a mini skirt.
to the ankles.
It was a mini skirt. It covered her panties, but you could still see them through the skirt. It was a cute outfit.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah,
And
it was great.
and the crowd was digging Ari, even though she was sick. And she said, you know, please forgive me.
Right.
Got to drink a little more water than normal. And
They were a little upset with her though.
about Chicago.
Chicago Boy. Somebody yelled out, "Can you sing Chicago Boy?"
They said, do Chicago Boy.
And she was like, "No, guys, I'm sorry." She was like, "I'll do another show where I do it." But
She said when I come back, she said next time I promise, which I thought was weird because I was like, Ari, you can't say I promise next time at Roots Picnic. Like this is not.
and then she said,
She said some weird shit about
She
the
said
song.
it's giving screaming cat. And I think what she was trying to say, because people look very perplexed.
I was one of them.
I think what she was trying to say was that if she tried to sing it sick, that's how it would sound.
Oh, okay. 'Cause
Yeah.
when she said that, I was like, I don't know what that means. But
Yeah,
then she
she
performed.
kept-
Then she performed "Shea Butter Baby" and "Pressure."
And
I
pressure,
didn't-
yeah, it was fine.
I don't think anybody gave a fuck because when she performed. Now this is what was interesting to me about Ari. I normally see Ari's performances and she closes out with "Shea Butter Baby." This time she closed out with "Pressure." And the crowd went fucking wild. And I was like, oh shit, is Pressure a bigger record than Shea Butter Baby?
At this point, I think so.
That's wild. Because Shea Butter Baby was in like the Creed movie and the Creed soundtrack and shit.
Yeah.
That's gangster.
Yeah,
And I'm happy to hear that. I'm an Ari fan.
me too.
And you know, I thought that was fly. Like and also as an artist, you know, like I'm no Ari Lennox or anybody on Roots Picnic, but as an artist, you know what songs you want to save towards the end,
Right.
the songs your fans are really excited for, and to be able to say like there's a new song that's over there, like the one that everyone's used to had to get bumped down because some new shit
Yeah.
has taken over, and the Pressure's not even that old.
No.
That album came out less than a year ago. So I think that's really fly, and I was happy to see that.
Yeah, no, I'm happy for her and where she seems to be going at this point. So that's great. Who else? State Property Reunion.
State Property Reunion.
That was great.
That was pretty fly. I was very excited, but not as excited as this one dude next to me. I don't know. I feel like You know, back when I was 14, 15, and State Property was like the shit, and Rockefeller was at its height, I knew every word of everything, every mixtape, you name it, I had it. But today, some of those things are a little foggy. There was this guy next to me. He knew every fucking record, word for word. And let me be clear for those who were not at Roots Picnic, they did not come out and immediately do like the commercial hit records. They were doing like mixtape shit and street records that like everybody doesn't know. This guy was just word for word. I was like, God damn, nigga, every word of every song, like
a true fan.
Wow. And I was like, man, he making me look bad in these streets.
A true fan. What surprised me was that I think the only time, I know I'm jumping around, but I think the only time the crowd really went crazy was when I saw Usher perform, and then when Eve performed. I found it really interesting that State Property is from Philly, and people weren't really
it was like a mixed reception for State Property for sure.
Yeah. Even Black Thought.
They was kind of hating on Black Thought, which I thought was weird.
Because it's his festival. It's just weird. Yeah. And I was just like, oh, I feel like every time I go to see a performance in Philly, it's weird. Like, the crowd is weird. It's like people in Philly just go to shit just because. Like, they don't go to stuff because they're fans. And that's fine. You could go just to, you happy to be here, something to do this weekend, that's fine. But when I'm trying to experience music, that makes it a little difficult for me.
Yeah, I seen stuff like that. It reminded me of how people describe the New York crowd. Because they say New York is one of the hardest places to perform. You could be a huge artist and still won't be well received. And I've seen that. I've gone to Wu-Tang concerts where it's only Wu-Tang on the bill. And Wu-Tang comes out and you're like, all right, the opening act, whatever. You might not know them. And usually it's like Wu-Tang affiliates. So if you're a real Wu-Tang fan, you do know them. Because you're like, oh yeah, Dash, yeah, that's JD's artist or whatever. JD, oh yeah, that's Dash artist. So you're like, oh, okay, I know this person. They featured on some records. Mm-hmm. They might not get the same amount of love. But like, I've been at concerts where Wu-Tang comes out and they always get a big reception when they come out. But when they start performing and shit, it's like, oh, this the shit. And cats are just like,
yeah.
It's like, oh man, but you got a 36 chamber shirt on.
Right.
You ain't, you ain't feeling this? And so that was interesting.
Went down to the Target.
I guess. Like, you was just at the merch booth, my nigga. Like, I'm confused.
Right.
But, yeah, and I thought it was really smart the way they used, we're jumping around, but I thought when they did the live mixtape, you had Busta and Eve doing their hit records, and then every other record or something like that, they saved space for Black Thought to come out and spit. And he even did that with Usher towards the end. I thought that was really smart and a really fly way of incorporating Black Thought into the performances. Right. Because really, the records that Black Thought is on and has, and even the Roots have, a lot of people probably don't know. They're not the same level of commercial hits. So if they did a Roots set, we probably wouldn't know all of the songs, me included. So I thought that was a really smart way of doing it, but the crowd did not want to hear Black Thought on Busta, Eve, and Usher records.
That was really odd to me.
They didn't enjoy it.
I also, since we mentioned State Property, I also want to point out that Beanie Sigel was trying to get people to sing Phil Collins, and people were not. People sang it for like one time, and then they were like, all right.
Yeah, Feel It in the Air over Phil Collins in the Air Tonight. It's cool, but he just allowed it to go on too long. Like, it's like a 5-minute record. We can't be singing Phil Collins for 5 minutes at a State Property reunion.
At Roots Picnic. I think if this was a State Property show specifically, then maybe you'd get more of this audience participation thing that he was trying to do. No. I just don't think, I think it went on too long, and I like Beans. We all love Phil Collins, and we love Beanie Sigel, and that's fine. Like I didn't have a problem problem with him trying to get the audience participation. It just went on too long. He's like, come on, sing this shit. And it was like, no. Oh my gosh, you know what I just remembered? I don't remember who said it. One of them niggas got up there and said, ladies, is your pussy clean?
Oh, it was Young Guns.
Why? It is the year of our Lord 2023.
Yeah. When they said that, the person I was with looked at me and said, "Can they say that today?" I was like, "Well, they said it." Shrug.
Niggas is all I took away from that. Because I was just like, but, like, y'all grown. If y'all don't know that wasn't okay. And I mean, I feel like the reaction wasn't crazy.
No,
right?
people cheered.
People kind of
It was a call and response.
It was a call and response. People kind of just, you know.
And then they dropped that shit afterwards.
Right. But it was like,
because that was their way of saying we about to do our biggest girl record.
Right, but like.
And everybody was singing that shit.
But who said it?
Young Guns. I don't know which one of them said it, but Young Guns. Because then they did Need Your Love. Or Better Love.
Are y'all dicks clean?
So, yeah. Another weird call and response moment.
You're just going.
I'm not going to answer. I mean, I can't answer for Young Guns or the audience. But anyway. Another weird call.
No, them specifically. I don't care about the audience. Them specifically. If you're going to ask that question, is your dick clean? We can move on.
Sponsors, your ad could go right here. I stole that move from Joe Budden. Joe Budden does that when they wild out on the podcast. He'd be like, sponsors. He gets mad close to the mic. Like, it gets super distorted. He's like, sponsors, your ad could go right here in between this conversation. Yeah, I stole that from him. Anyway,
okay.
Another weird call and response moment, then we can move on, is Ari Lennox, as great as her performance was, she tried to have the crowd sing some super long note. And I was like, One, the crowd can't sing like you, baby. The crowd can't sing like you, Ari. You can't have niggas up here holding notes for 12 minutes. Like, no, you gotta do some quick shit. When I say hip, you say hop. Hip, hop, hip, hop. You know? She was up there like, yeah, okay, everybody, ooh, no, because the crowd sounded just as bad as I did right now.
Right.
And they was trying to do it, and I was like, no, it's not giving.
No, it wasn't giving.
It was not.
The call and response. Well, forget about the call and response. Just the audience participation frustrated me.
Usher
during Usher. I love Usher. I want to hear Usher sing. First of all, there was a mic problem.
Right. Yes.
Throughout the festival, there was a mic problem
on the main stage. Anyway, I didn't see any issues with it when I was on the smaller stage. The smaller stages seemed to be fine, but the main stage,
that main stage was, the mics were all low. A lot of acts came out and said, "Can you turn my mic up?" Usher was the only person who did not ask them to turn his mic up. He did a little intermission, and then when he came back out, it seemed like they turned it up a little bit, but not enough. Yeah, because Usher's mic needed to be louder just off the strength of people singing along to his songs.
Every fucking word.
It was
whether they could hit the notes or not.
It was driving me insane because I'm like, I'm here to see Usher. And Usher is great because Usher will perform
his ass off.
Yes. He didn't say, "Oh, I'm at this little festival in Philly. I'm gonna give y'all this half-ass performance." Usher was into it. Usher brought out Jasmine Sullivan.
Oh man,
Eve came out. Black Thought came out.
Couldn't hear them.
Could not hear. It was like they didn't even turn on Jasmine Sullivan's mic,
which was sad.
I love the footage. I don't know if you've seen. I don't know how close you were, but the footage of them up close, like. Great. I just wish that you could have heard her, and I wish that Jasmine would have stayed, for a couple songs.
Yo, I was excited when
bless us with something.
When he said, "Make some noise for the immaculate Jasmine Sullivan," The person I was with didn't even react. They just looked at me because they knew how hype I was. I was hype as shit. I like, yo, we about to get a Jasmine Sullivan mini set. We getting 3 songs. What we gonna get? We gonna get Bust the Windows Out Your Car?
I thought the same thing.
What we getting?
I thought.
And then they used her as an Erica Badu replacement for the very popular Roots song.
Yeah.
Which I didn't even think that was super fly.
Yeah.
And brought Eve back out,
And
but
Eve came
we
back out,
we
yeah.
couldn't hear him.
Yeah, that was my issue with Usher. It's like, okay, yeah, that wet my palate a little bit, but I'm going to need to go to Vegas or Paris to see Usher's show.
Paris.
Well, because he's doing a residency in Paris right now also.
Yo, Usher is the man.
So
He's in his I'm performing every day era.
yeah. Oh, listen, I'm sure when he heard that Diddy was not going to be at Roots Picnic anymore, I'm sure Usher was the one who was like, can I come?
Right.
Because I'm free.
Right.
I'm free on, you said Sunday?
Right. Even though he was there Saturday for the elephant in the room we have yet to bring up.
Oh, we haven't talked about that. Lauryn Hill. He was there. I actually have video of him hanging in the background with JD and some white man.
Not this JD.
Who I don't know. No. Jermaine Dupri. Excuse me. This is JD. That is Jermaine Dupri.
Jermaine.
Yeah, I have video of him just chilling behind the crowd waiting for Lauryn Hill to come out. So Lauryn Hill performed.
And she didn't make us wait 5 hours.
No.
She didn't even make us wait 1 hour.
She was only about 30 to 40 minutes late.
I think it was about 40 minutes.
People were saying she was on time. I think that's what people consider on time for Lauryn Hill. And, you know, I'll accept it. I'll allow it.
I was just glad I didn't have to wait 5 hours because it was already 9 o'clock.
I agree.
10 o'clock? I don't know, something like that.
And then she brought out Praz and Wyclef. And they did like a little mini Fugees reunion, which was cool.
And which the internet has not stopped talking about.
Oh, and the internet keeps saying that this was their last performance because, you know, Praz has his issues. We don't need to get into that, but
right.
we don't really know what the fate of the group is at this point. Their reunion tour got canceled, so no one really got to see that.
Right.
So I was happy to be there to see it.
I mean, it was history.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. Like,
Yeah, it was amazing.
seeing Lauryn Hill is like...
It's historical in its own right.
This is right. It's crazy to even be able to say that. And then when she was really getting into her shit, it's like, where my squad at?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, history.
Yeah, no, it was great. But can we talk about Lauryn by herself for a second? Because I noticed that a lot of people started leaving.
But then Usher too, though.
Usher too.
I think more people left when Usher was performing than when Lauryn Hill performed.
Yeah, there was like a changeover that Usher did where his band seemed to be getting more involved and like the songs were arranged a lot differently from what you were used to. I think people get frustrated with that. I thought it was funny that, just to harken back a little bit, that Busta made that his flex. He was like, still sounding like the studio track.
He did. And
which
he
he does.
Yeah, he did.
He does.
Identical.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was interesting. But I think, yeah, some of the music was arranged a little weird. I think with Lauryn Hill, it's hard to reconcile that because we don't get music from her.
Yes.
She hasn't created any new music in years.
Right.
So we are not, like, we're going off of this album that we were blasting 25 years ago, and we want to hear the album we've been playing for the last 25 years.
Yeah, she did different. It was very different sonically. It was very different when it came to the arrangements. Mm-hmm. She was killing shit. She was singing her ass off. She was very into all the rap parts, especially when the Fugees came out.
Oh, yeah. Actually, if you go to our Instagram or our TikTok, I posted a part where they're just kind of vibing on the stage, and yeah, she was really hyped, really excited. So
yeah, but yeah, it was weird hearing the music sound very different. Mm-hmm. I think the only song she did identically in her solo set was Zion,
and sort of because it was, it was
that
tweaked
was
a little bit.
Right. I don't know, but listen, it was great. I'm glad she showed up. She was on time, more or less, and she bodied shit. And listen, I'm always happy to be a part of history.
I agree.
You know.
But yeah,
including when Ron Isley admits he missed his own lyric.
Oh my gosh, yes, he sure did. He
was
laughed. It was funny because he laughed to himself, and it was like he knew. I looked at him and I said, he must have forgot his lines. And then sure enough, he goes, well, shit, I forgot my own lines. I thought that was so funny. I was like, it's okay, old man.
And it was a very human moment.
Yeah. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
All right. I understand that.
But he looked great, sounded great.
Mm-hmm.
His brother was killing it on the guitar.
Rudolph wasn't there. Rudolph's still waiting to get his check. Rudolph probably sent a note like, am I getting a check for Roots Picnic? If you don't know what we're talking about, please go back to the episode where we talk about the Isley brothers. And we talk about the fact that Rudolph is trying to get his checks from his brother.
Right.
Yeah. So. Yeah, but it was nice. It was nice to see. It was nice to see Ron. Now that I'm not afraid of him, it was nice to see him.
Why were you afraid of him?
I told that story about how I'm afraid of Ron Isley. And I was not that I am afraid of Ron Isley. I was afraid of the download video.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, so it's nice to not be afraid anymore and like really be able to enjoy his music.
And I appreciated the length of the sets. No one was up there for 10 minutes.
Right.
You got real performances for all those people that we're mentioning. State Property, Isley Brothers, Ari, Lauren, Usher. I'm missing somebody. Everybody got, like, you got a show.
Yeah.
And I thought that was cool. I know a lot of times at festivals it's shorter sets. You might do 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
These were 40-minute sets, hour-long sets. Usher did a little more than an hour. It didn't look like Usher or Lauryn Hill wanted to leave.
Yeah, but Usher did leave a little early.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I felt cheated
Usher came out right on time, though. He wasn't playing.
He came out 15 minutes late, but I felt cheated of 10 minutes because he left for 5 minutes.
Right.
And it was, they played his songs. The DJ played his songs, played about 3 or 4 of his songs, but I wanted Usher to sing those songs. That's actually how I was surprised. They played Hey Daddy, he didn't perform it, and we know that he loves to, for whatever reason.
He did perform Hey Daddy.
No, he didn't.
No?
No.
Oh.
He didn't. It was a part of the DJ set in the middle. In fact, he even reposted, or not reposted, he even posted on social media, he posted the set list. But yeah, and then there was 5 minutes that was shaved off of the end.
Got it.
And I know this because I love Usher and I wanted every single minute of
Clearly.
Usher. But yeah, because he was supposed to perform for a total of an hour and 15 minutes. Now, I just want to point out that the episode where we talk about the Isley brothers is episode 27. Why can't I talk today? It's episode 27, Between the Sheets. Just wanted to point that out just in case everybody's looking for that.
Good job. And it's also on our YouTube as its own segment. If you just want to know about the Isley brother beef, you can go on our YouTube channel and you'll find just that segment video because we want to make it easy for y'all.
Exactly. So yeah, I had a pleasant time. I had a pleasant weekend. I had a great experience with Roots Picnic. I would go back. It was good. It was great.
Yeah, I had a blast.
Yeah. Oh, and I just wanted to call out a couple new artists that I saw. Simba is a rapper. I don't know. I can't decide how I feel about Simba, but I figured I should talk about him anyway because I happen to
see him perform.
So, I mean, if you're looking for new music or a newer artist, I don't know how long he's been around, to be honest. Simba is one of them. And then Sid, I don't think Sid is new, but Sid sounded great. Sid is a singer, and
okay.
I didn't know about Sid, but she was up there killing it, and people were Very excited about Sid. So please, if anybody knows more information, feel free to put it in the comments. But
Yeah.
I didn't know about Sid, so I just wanted to
Me
call
either. I
those
don't
two,
even know who that is.
those two artists out. Because
So she sings like R&B.
yes,
Oh, then I gotta check her out immediately.